Hey, welcome to match number 5. Playing some blue-white spirits, and this is like... I think because of the Mutavault, this is keepable, but it's at the low end of it. This is not a hand I'm happy to have. It's got too many lands. Now, if I draw some Drogskol Captains, I think we might get there, but this is certainly on the weaker side. Or if he Burning Inquiries. Ugh. Spellcaller's good though. You know, I should probably have attacks with Mutavault because the chances of me flashing in a Rattlechains are quite low. I wonder if he's Burn or Hollow One. I think it's more likely it is Burn, but it's not a guarantee. Certainly. He is a player that likes to take his time and think. So I heard that one of the games that's coming up that I'm kind of interested in, called Artifact, which is another digital trading card game Valve is working on with Richard Garfield. Richard Garfield being the creator of Magic. Apparently Garfield created the game and then went to Valve to get it produced. Apparently the turn timer in that game is like 10 to 15 seconds or something like that. Play Rattlechains. I'm going to play Rattlechains, and then he's going to Grim Lavamancer it. Ooh, he's not. That's interesting. I was really expecting a cracked Arid Mesa in response. So the thing that excites me about the lower turn timer is that then, while it's still technically a turn-based game, having a faster enforced rate of game flow, I guess I'd call it, means that there's an element of benefit to being someone who comes to conclusions quickly, as opposed to someone who sits and deliberates for a long time. And I'm very much one of the people that likes to just, snap make decisions. And so when I was playing competitive RTSs like StarCraft and Dota, I was always held back a little bit because I couldn't move my hands fast enough to really execute it. I don't have 100 APM or 200 or 300 APM that you need to play those games really well. But I was able to come up with strategies really quickly, especially in like Dota, for example. And so having something that's like kind of between the two, where on the one hand it's sort of a fast game, fast enough that, coming up with ideas quickly helps. Well, at the same time, it's slow enough that it's not gated off you being able to execute quickly, I think is interesting. Anyways, so when that game comes out, I will definitely make some videos of me playing it. And maybe people will find that entertaining, or maybe they'll decide they only want to see me play Magic. But hey, could be fun. I like card games. I like all kinds of games. You only see me playing Magic, but it is not the only game I play. Anyways, sorry, I've been rambling mostly because my opponent is playing Burn and is super friggin' slow. So, you know. Still, right now we've traded a Burn spell for creature at 20 against Burn, so that's kind of nice. Problem is this Grim Lavamancer. Go on another tangent, since I'm flicking through Dominaria Draft Shaft. There are a lot of things that were great about Dominaria, but I definitely felt like some of the sub-themes that they tried to do really missed. Like, I'm looking at this Bloodstone Goblin card that's like, whenever you cast a spell, if that spell was kicked, it gets +1/+1 in Menace. Did the kicker deck exist? Because there were definitely a bunch of things that were like, oh hey, you get bonuses for kicking this, or you get bonuses for kicking spells, like the red-green legend at Uncommon. But it just felt like that deck wasn't a thing. You know, it never came together, it never was seen. I don't know. I felt like there were a lot of cool things, and there are also some things that are just like, well, that didn't work. So it looks like here I'm playing Supreme Phantom and bashing for 3. He's definitely trying to take the control route with this Grim Lavamancer. Oh, no. Yeah, I think I'm still playing Supreme Phantom and bashing for 3, and then I'm going to save the Path to Exile for another turn. Because he doesn't have anything in his graveyard, and he's not able to kill the Supreme Phantom with the Lavamancer, and so the only reason that the 2 damage would matter is if it's either attacking for 2, or if he's doing a 1-point Searing Blaze on the Supreme Phantom. And by attacking for 2, I mean activating it to hit me in the face. But since all of his creature removal burn spells do 3 damage, except for a not landfall Searing Blaze, the Lavamancer activation doesn't matter for the purposes of clearing my board. So I'm going to activate Mutavault, attack. And do 2 damage. Interesting. That was not something I expected to see happen. Targeting me. Interesting. Do I path it now? I don't think I do. I'll throw out the Path to Exile. Is this going to be Bolt to the face, Skullcrack, and then activate Lavamancer? Alright. This does enable me to play the Rattle Chains without it dying to a Bolt. I'm going to attack for 4. Oh, fails to find only 3 mountains. Very happy to see that Stomping Ground. Is this a Searing Blaze? Yep. That gets Spell Quellered. And I really hope there's no burn spell to kill the Spell Queller right now. Bolt, Helix, and Searing Blaze. Well, that's awkward. Creature. 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 I mean, admittedly, attacking with the Mutavault is a bit of a risk, because if my opponent draws exactly that, I get punished for it. But if I was just waiting, I can't just wait with no clock against a burn deck. So I'm playing Mausoleum Wanderer and passing to hold up Mutavault. Actually, should I have held up Mutavault or just attacked and hoped that my opponent draws only lands? Because I might almost be at the spot where I can only win against mono lands. Alright, well, that's done. But hey, if there's a game 3, then my opponent might just time out, because they're playing so damn slowly. Negates and worships, and out with Curious Obsessions and Phantasmal Images. I imagine my opponent's going to take forever to sideboard, since that's about the pace at which they play. Going to be on the play for this one, should probably win it, and then the game 3 would be difficult. We'll see. Alright, game 2. This hand looks excellent. So I can counter any spell my opponent plays. The biggest danger is actually an attack with Monastery Swift Spear after playing a land. Because then I have to decide whether or not I'm risking Supreme Phantom on the probability that they don't have 2 lightning bolts. I guess double lightning bolt is pretty unlikely, but it would kind of suck to get blown up by 2 lightning bolts. And given the path to exile, I think the odds that I should block are very low. I should not block. Wow, my opponent is terrible. That feels nice. So a land or a 2-drop would be the best things here. Spell Queller's not great, but this is fine. They are highly unlikely to have another creature, given that they didn't play it last turn. So I just path the Monastery Swift Spear. And then I start vialing in Spell Quellers with a negate backup. And a Mausoleum Wanderer to boot. I think I probably path Goblin Guide. Since I want to force him to use his spells pre-combat when possible. Drawing a Selfless Spirit. I'd tick up the Vial, play the Selfless Spirit and attack for 4, and plan to take the hit off the Monastery Swift Spear next turn. Vial in the Spell Queller to counter a spell. The Spell Queller will never die because I have a Selfless Spirit and a Mausoleum Wanderer to protect it. And then when I untap with a Spell Queller and negate, I just can't possibly lose. And I should win this race. Since they played the spell pre-combat, they can't even attack with the Monastery Swift Spear. Because the likelihood that they have 2 lightning bolts at this point is so low that I wouldn't believe that attack. And I would just block with the Spell Queller. Especially since they haven't played in a way that would represent that. I would rather not take 3 damage. need to play the Selfless Spirit. I'm going to sit here with 2 counter spells and lethal damage. Searing Blood. Alright. I don't think there's any changes. Let's see if we can win the last game. Go 4-1. Oh. Hey, I have a awful hand because I am not going to keep 3 lands and 4 3-drops on the draw against Burn. That is not happening. Well, this is awkward. I don't want the second path. I need creatures. Yeah, that Wooded Foothills is fine. Play the Vial. I expect there to be a Eidolon of the Great Revel next turn. My opponent did not mulligan. Next turn I'll see the Eidolon, and then I will path it and play Aether Vial. Path Eidolon. Play the Vial. Now, really, the ideal draws from this point are Worship, Land, and whatever you call that hexproof thingy, Geist of Saint Traft. That's what I need. I think I actually just want to slow down the amount of damage I take, so I'm going to file this in and counter the Boros Charm. I would like a Supreme Phantom. That would also be acceptable. Mutavault's okay, I suppose. Problem is I can't really block the Swift Spear. He's going to have spells. Interesting. Well, I would really like to draw spells. Mutavault is nice and all. But I do want spells. Doesn't feel good to let that Boros Charm resolve, I'll tell you that much. At this point, I'll Squeller anything he plays, because then I'll negate the removal spell on the Squeller. But if he just has too much burn, then he has too much burn and I die. And that's life. It's going to be a Searing Blaze. I wonder if I can get anything out of a Pump Fake to Aether Vial. Oh. No reason not to try, really. I couldn't imagine them doing anything based off of it, but hey, why not, right? I'm tapped out, so I can just F6 and take my 3 damage down to 6. Give me a good spell. Good spell, please. Please. That does qualify, I do believe. Yeah. Going to attack for 9. And hope my opponent has nothing. Monastery Swift Spear. Got it. We did it. 4-1. Well, that's a multiple 4-1s and a 5-0. Feeling good about this Spirit thing. See you next league.